Hello and welcome to Kumita Journey. With me right now is Christian, our co-host for today, and also our guest Mikhail. So we have today is our episode one in Spotify. So what's our topic for today, Chris?
Okay. So for our topic of the day, syempre we have a guest who we think na talagang can share a lot of insights, commentaries. Pero yung first part natin, actually, we're gonna talk about our guest, Mikhail here. I'm gonna introduce him later. Overall, we're gonna talk about tech big stories this week. Syempre for Pinoy consumption. No? So, medyo konti lang yung nagko-commentary ngayon sa Philippines about the big tech news. So, we wanna start doing that and syempre itatranslate natin for Pinoy use and do some commentary. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you our guest. No? He is Mikhail Penalosa. Let me show a ticker here. Yan. For me, I would consider you, Mikhail, as an AI venture pioneer. He has used Chatgpt for one of his business ventures 2021. And I was amazed with the way he, conceptualized and used that technology to something new also. So combining all these technologies together, I'm impressed, and we have to invite him because he's also an entrepreneur by heart and also a marketing professional. So that's our topic later at our Facebook section. Hi, Mikhail. How are you?
Hello, hello. Good morning.
Yes. Can you give us a little introduction about yourself?
Cool. So I've actually owned a marketing agency for more than 14 years. I dealt with different brands across the globe, built different ventures as well. Recently, I was in NFT GameFi space. Previously, was in lead generation, call center, that kind of stuff. And generally, I like to experiment on new developments in technology. I remember way back in 2015, with my clients, brand clients here, I was the first one to get them to um, get into e-commerce, developing sites. Um, yeah, and then we brought the concept of lead generation and our own having a native call center based in the Philippines, targeting Filipinos, selling in Southeast Asia, specific product, those kind of things. Yeah, and then I first found out about OpenAI, I think early 2020. It wasn't very popular back then.
Mhm.
2021 was the first, I think, the year when they opened the beta program to access to OpenAI. Back there wasn't even Chat GPT back in those times. You would just use the playground in OpenAI. To get the beta access, I even remember emailing the CEO Sam Altman.
Hmm.
I think I even emailed him myself. Yeah,
Can
I
you show us?
emailed. I'll try to find out where I'll try to find
Yeah,
where
we
I
have
got.
time. We have time. Kasi mamaya we're gonna talk about
I
Sam
even
Altman.
yeah, I think I emailed him myself to just to get access to the beta.
Oh.
Primarily we used I got curious of OpenAI when I saw the news of this NFT project called Alethea AI, which got famous I think back September.
Mhm.
Yes, September 2 years ago. So though I mostly what got me into it was the prospect of increasing productivity for creating content. So one of the things that we were playing around with back then was creating a virtual world, writing stories,
Mm.
and world building in a story. Like imagine like writing a story for like creating your own Lord of the Rings something like that. So what we did was I researched uh, outlines and basic concepts of world building. There's like a 10-point step to that.
Mhm.
Um, and since there wasn't really yet an interface back then, for there was no chat GPT back in late 2021, but um, we actually started developing some open AI based technology, so you can kind of like layer the prompts um, using OpenAI Playground. So basically, I think eventually the UI will eventually get into that stage. But back in 2021, I already got something developed, so you can layer your prompts. So meaning like, um, uh, because we use it for character development of
Mhm.
content, and usually there's different layers to some personality, right, of a specific character. Like there's a place where you came from, where you were
Yeah.
born, your
Mhm.
history, your
Yeah.
religion, your beliefs, things like that. All
Yeah.
those are layered in. And the
Yeah.
idea was for the application that we built is that you get to talk to this virtual
NPC.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that NPC, correct.
That's
And then
unique
that
one.
NPC, yeah, and then that NPC will tell you stories
Mhm.
of what's happening in his own world. So yeah, so basically that was the idea, and we ended up using that technology. So eventually we just modified the layers
Yeah.
of the prompts, and
Mhm.
then just have the open AI as have the AI whatever it generates, and we had a writer, an
Mhm.
actual novelist. I got him to play with it, and then we ended up having almost like a complete novel, like 10,000 word, a
Oops.
10,000 word like encyclopedia
Mhm.
of the spiritual world that we built, and
Mhm.
he managed
Wow.
to do it in like a month. So mostly we used it for that purpose internally lang,
Mhm.
so we can um, get to writing
Uh-huh.
quickly. Pero when I saw ChatGPT, uh, I realized, oh, we already developed some I guess a plugin or technology of some sort to make prompts kind of like more organized and more I guess more refined. Because the
Mhm.
thing with the thing that I like with the AI, it's like a calculator for different ideas and thoughts.
Mhm.
And currently, the current version of ChatGPT actually doesn't let you. Um, it's hard to stack different ideas together and then have it spit out something based on specific parameters.
Mhm.
Because it just keeps going on and on and on with the different prompts as you go on time. So, but I think eventually there will be an app like that. Maybe we'll develop. Maybe we'll end up pushing out this technology that we developed because it's um, yeah, we just developed it for our own purpose.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that's a fun thing I see for it right now. Actually, with the current clients I'm dealing with, I use ChatGPT um, for content creation, like
Mhm.
things that you need to have at least 5 people before. I can
Alright.
do everything like
That's
on my own. Like one
that's right.
person can do it, like the
Yeah.
graphic design, the content for social media, the
Mid
email.
journey gamit mo? Mid journey.
I use Midjourney and
Okay.
just um, ChatGPT, mostly for content. So the
Mm.
speed at which um, you can churn out contents for everything you need for
Mhm.
marketing. And you can do it on
You
your
can
own
do it
now.
for
The
me.
things that you need at least 5 people to do before, now one person can do
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
Since
Yeah.
yeah, you mentioned, I want to go back to what you were saying kanina, no? You were building this massive parang plot within that
Yeah.
universe, no?
Mm.
Was there like an editing process as well, or you
Yeah.
just used whatever OpenAI generated?
Yeah, there was an editing process. So we worked with the I had the after we developed this it ended up being like our own private chat GPT using just the playground. Because in AI, OpenAI, there's this area called OpenAI Playground. So that's like the code. It's like a view source. It's like when you go to your browser view source, but then you can input text in there and then it will generate um, a text for you. So it's almost like ChatGPT, but doesn't have. But I guess a more technical.
Mm-hmm.
So after we built the base code for that um, tech, I had a writer play around with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so he ended up writing 10,000 word novel around it.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Um,
And you were
yeah.
able to monetize it as well, right? Yeah,
We were
that
able
world
to.
that you created.
Yeah, the idea for
Um,
that is like we sold it as an NFT project.
uh,
It did not make a lot of money, but we sold something, and it's still currently being developed.
mhm.
Uh, yeah.
Let's talk about your current marketing practice right now. You have your own marketing agency,
Mm.
and are you excited about the future of your practice now?
Oh yeah.
Given,
Actually, yeah. The thing that excites me the most with AI and also with the marketing space is the productivity that AI allows you to have. Um, it just cuts down expenses and the time you need to roll out simple things like before for social media management na lang, for example, uh, you would need to have at least a person,
Mhm,
one writer, let's say, to create one content per day, right? And then a graphic designer to create the post, which will take X amount of time. But now you can only have one guy can create the content, minor edits, and then end up doing the graphics himself. Like whether you do the base image on Midjourney and then later on finish it on Canva, there's still some human element involved. Um, but generally, what I like about it is really the productivity and the amount of scale in terms of uh, their production
mhm.
that AI can help you with.
Yeah. So mas syempre mas mabilis, no? And at the
Yeah,
same time, I guess yung mga current team mo will na-transform na yung job description nila. Is it ha- paano mo sila na pivot towards a higher level function?
actually, it for me right now it's still a work in progress. Like, but definitely there is some changes in the process, and how a remote team or a marketing team can be formed. Um, I think mostly you used to need to have like a set of specialists before, like say for a marketing team that does, let's say for example, media buying, as in just doing ads for clients. Usually, you need to have a copywriter, you need to have a graphic designer, an analyst, and then uh, the main account manager. So that's like four people, right, working on one thing. Um, but now that for that same person, that same group of people that used to work on one project, you can actually scale them up into working maybe it's 1:5. Um, but yeah, right now I'm still studying, how to better refine the system.
Okay.
using AI.
Pero how do you set yourself apart from I assume from my research you work with international clients then, 'di ba? How
Mm.
do you set yourself apart from marketing agencies that are using AI as well? I'm
Mm.
sure they've used it.
Um, I guess we apply the same strategy that we've been using for the past decade, which is being data driven and um, using insights that we gather from data and creating creative output from there. Except now, we utilize AI a bit on the brainstorming part because you can literally AI for me is like a calculator for different ideas. So it helps with the formulation of strategies and creatives as well. So before it's like uh, if your team is encountering like mental blocks or if you need to brainstorm on things, that thing really helps and makes things quicker. So um, so your team can deliver more, you can get more clients,
Uh,
you can fine tune your offerings more, and give your clients more value for money.
mhm.
Yeah.
In regards with media buy,
Mm.
ano sa tingin mo, effective ba si AI? Yung mga sinasabi niyang ano, recommendations or iba pa rin yung totoong tao?
Actually, I think eventually we'll get there, as in like automating the entire process. But right now, what I primarily use it for is just saving time.
Saving
Uh,
time muna 'no?
Saving time, as in like if you need copy
Mhm.
and creatives, you just get the AI to do
Hindi
it.
ka mo hindi ka nagre-rely talaga?
Um, you 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 can't do it yet, but
Hmm,
usually naman ang parts ng sa an ad campaign naman usually they have the content, right? And then the
mm,
image, and then video. You need the video, so it's
hmm,
easier to create now using AI. It's easier to create higher
hmm,
quality video or image output like that you can't do before. So if you
hmm.
guys have seen, you should check out. Maybe you can check out later on Twitter. You can Google the most amazing content output I've seen like lately that really like blew my mind is the
What's that?
Harry Potter X Balenciaga
Ad?
random ad like a
Oh
guy
Oo,
yeah.
yeah someone created like a high fashion commercial.
Mhm.
mhm,
Oh, and he blended Harry Potter characters with high fashion models and Balenciaga. And apparently he did that like maybe like an hour or 2 hours, and then he shared the entire tool stack that he used to make it.
wow,
And it's really high quality. So yeah, I think right now for marketing, it allows you to create high quality content at a very low cost. So the production of these outputs. They
Mhm.
used to they used to take you thousands of dollars to do like even high quality videos and a lot of time. Now you can do it at a fraction of that,
Mhm.
and you can better allocate your resources.
Mhm.
So mostly right now, just speeding it up. But I think eventually we will reach a stage where the analytics of
mhm,
the entire campaign will be there and automated as well.
Mhm.
It's just I think AI we're still at the very early stage, but the speed at which the technology is evolving probably not way too long to get to that.
But
yung naki
will
sige,
it create more competitors as well, and then eventually it's gonna be a very competitive market, and then the big players will come in and eat up yung mga small players. There's going to be consolidation.
Yeah, just like any new technology, always reaches that point. But I believe AI is just a tool to get you more creative. So it will still come down to how you use it and the user, the technology itself. It's like
Mm.
we using it. You just need to like widen your imagination more and not rely on the thing too much,
Sige.
because there's only so much that the AI can generate for you, and using it for a while, like I can tell if the content is written completely by the AI or if you put the human touch in it. So I think over time, once more content creators are using it, and then you see creators that are putting a little bit of themselves into the AI output, I think eventually we'll reach a stage where the actual consumers of the content will have the ability to determine on their own what if this guy is using AI completely, or if you use your
At saka
uh,
meron na, may AI detector na.
yeah, there's an AI detector, but I think it's gonna be really difficult to do that to tell. I don't think it's gonna be very difficult, but I'm not sure yet how to describe it, but you can kind of tell. You will be able to tell because of the limitation of the machine. Um, it's very rigid and too perfect. That's how you can generally tell if it's written by
'Pag
AI.
masyadong perfect 'no?
It's too perfect.
Hindi, for me, no, let me chime in there. For me, ang limitation ngayon ni ChatGPT 4, even the 4, is if you're an expert and your knowledge is not available on the internet, hindi niya kaya.
Yeah, correct.
So
Yeah,
number one, yung if you know your customers well as well, 'di ba? And that particular information hindi naman nasa internet. So
yeah,
mahirapan niya i-customize. Eh.
yeah, yeah,
So you have to like do the prompting, etc.
yeah,
system. Pero I think that's the advantage of people who are older or much more experienced. Meron silang a certain knowledge that's not available. So hard
mm,
to access. So they can talk
yeah.
more,
Actually,
to the heart.
now that you're in that topic, I just remembered when we created our initial technology for the GPT-3 application, the world building GPT-3 application that we were building. We still had to train GPT-3 to our own specific prompts. I don't not exact. I'm not exactly prompts, but parameters and how you can program it to think. Because actually what most people are playing around with in Chat GPT right now is like the default open AI
Mm-hmm.
library. They
Yeah,
actually have three different libraries. I
agree.
forgot the name of the three, but I know the biggest one was the Da Vinci uh,
Ah, interesting.
thread. It differs depending on the amount of data points it has. So um, yeah, so I think we'll reach a stage where we can you can pre-train the model to a specific set of data. So I think yesterday I saw another company already doing that. Like I
Mm.
think Bloomberg Finance. So they have their own set of proprietary data that you cannot access anywhere, and I think they're training GPT-3 um,
For
on
custom application development,
yeah, on
basically.
using their own data. So
Uh,
it's still the Chat GPT application is actually just scratching the surface of what you can do with the AI.
delocalize pa kasi yan eh, di ba?
Yeah. So anything.
Gagamitin per use.
So I think in the future, eventually, there's gonna be a concept of data ownership
Mm-mm.
uh, for companies, for people. Right now, kasi uh, data is not owned by any of us. It's owned by the big players like Google, like Fang or Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft. So, but eventually, um, we will reach a stage where some companies will have their own set of data, and maybe you can train open AI according to your spec. The
Uh,
trick of really the trick to really maximizing AI is training it how to
Mhm.
think and giving it the structure on how to process information and how you want it to spit out the data for you. So right now you can't really do that in ChatGPT. Um, yeah.
That's true. That's true. Good thoughts. Good thoughts. Sige. I think any additional questions before we talk about yung mga news kasi may mga sinabi si Mikhail kanina na covered ng mga news that we've selected for the day's episode.
Mm.
All right.
So,
Sige.
so
No further questions.
magkakaroon ng customized GPT for every company. Yun yung mangyayari, di ba?
I think so. Like
Pwede, pwede.
what I really want to see um, is an application that lets you structure how the AI will process information and how it will and the specific and the format and how it delivers the data for you. So once we reach that stage, I think that's where some more fun applications can be.
That's true.
But
That's true.
Then magkakaroon ng sariling robot yung bawat company. Tama ba?
hindi, ang first
Yun
step niya,
one.
I think the first step is, um, I think we're still quite far off from this,
Malayo
but
pa, malayo pa.
malayo pa. Pero I think the first step is having the process to, to own your data, organize your data,
Mm.
um, put it somewhere, maybe in a
Mm.
cloud service or whatever, and then it's for people or companies to start thinking about how, or maybe just look at how you process data in general, and then structure it. And then once you have that, then you have already the foundation of how you can use AI better.
That's
But
right.
the
That's right.
keyword there is really structured thinking, like
Mhm.
how does your organization uh, think, or what process do you implement, um, and then you translate that into, I guess, a language model or not, and train the AI using using your data.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, just a segue tayo, no? Since we're talking
Sige.
about that. In fact, ayan din exactly yung sinabi ni Sam Altman last Sunday, during his interview with Lex Friedman. Do you follow Lex Friedman or familiar with him, Mike Mikhail? Sige, I'll share my screen para lang para makita nyo yung interview niya. Although we're not gonna show the video, just a preview lang, and I'll talk about it.
Okay.
And perfect kasi nandun na yung sinasabi mo in a way na anticipate mo eh. So let's share the screen right now. Hold on. If you can show us the email pala, that's
Nahanap
good.
ko nga eh.
We have time. We have time. We can.
Ganda yun, maganda yun.
Uh,
Email ko yan eh.
all
Si
right,
Sam.
Mm.
sige. Let me share my screen now. So the video's here.
Uy, pwedeng NFT yun Mikhail. Oh, benta mo as an NFT.
Alright.
Shucks,
Ayan. Ayan. Nakita niyo yung screen?
Mm-mm.
Hold on. Nakita niyo. Alright. So let's talk about that. So si Sam Altman pala, mga Filipino viewers natin. Or American, whoever who can speak Filipino. Baka may nakikinig sa atin na nakakaintindi naman, di ba? Was also one of the investors along with Elon Musk for OpenAI. Okay? So sabay sila, and then eventually nagkaroon yata sila ng conflict. So umalis si Elon Musk because of probably they want to tama ba yung pagkaintindi ko, Michael? They want to position OpenAI as a profit company, si Musk
Yes.
doesn't like it, no?
I think the story there was there was OpenAI originally was a non-profit company. The first time I heard of them actually was, I think, a few years ago, maybe 2015, 16, because OpenAI back then was training their tech on playing Dota 2.
Mhm.
Adding ako sa Dota 2 before, and they got OpenAI to play with um the champion team on that year, and they actually beat the champion, the grand champion. OpenAI beat it, so I thought that was amazing. Um, and I think they OpenAI had some liquidity issues because they were a non-profit company, and they were forced to sell themselves to Microsoft so they can keep the
Ah,
lights, I guess.
sayang.
So that's why now Microsoft
Ah,
owns OpenAI. But I think if they didn't do that, there wouldn't be any ChatGPT today.
Yeah, kasi
Although,
the resources needed, 'di ba?
yeah, the
To
resources,
massive eh.
yeah, it's too big. Um,
Supercomputers, you have to build yung processing
hmm.
power to make that
Although I
happen.
understand where Elon is coming from, I think AI should not be owned by a big corporation. It has to be, uh, in a way, decentralized, or at least owned by you.
Mm-mm.
Uh, but the good thing though, um, the only advantage GPT has among its other peers is the amount of data it trains. But the actual thinking model and the structure of it is mostly, you can get some of it, not all of it, some of it open source, and then you can just build on top of that.
Mhm.
So it's already in a good enough state. I remember there's another language model other than OpenAI that's like a decentralized version of it. I forgot the name, but it's based off of GPT-2, like an
Mhm.
older version. Nalimutan ko
Correct.
yung pangalan. Hanapin ko. Pero alam ko meron eh. And I think that's
Uh,
what other developers are doing. Kasi merong segment ng OpenAI na open source.
mm-mm. Okay, sige. Before we touch that topic again, let's do some, I wanna get your thoughts, Janelle and Mikhail, on yung mga sinabi during that interview, no? Sige, let's touch the first one. I'll narrate everything. So number one is political bias. All right. AI safety, and then their command prompts, and then how it changed the nature of programming and jobs. So let's start with political bias. Kasi yun yung pang-asar din ni Elon Musk na ChatGPT is woke, di ba? Uh, and there are a lot of, mga political commentaries then who tried using ChatGPT and they asked ChatGPT. Medyo biased talaga sa ChatGPT. Mas madami siya, parang mas in favor siya sa, let's say, sa liberal side and Democrat, which we covered during episode 1. And ang reaction niya, I'd like to, ang sagot ni Sam Altman during that interview is, we're listening and we are, I'm trying to summarize, this is not his exact words, but his point is somewhere along those lines na we're listening to our critics, harshest critics, and we are learning from it, and we have changed na naging neutral na ngayon si ChatGPT 4. ChatGPT 3.5 hindi daw siya masaya at all kasi medyo bias daw. Si ChatGPT 4 medyo bias na kasi ganito na yung ginagawa niya, sabi niya. Sabi ng interviewer, may nuance na. So, pe-present na niya yung opposing views rather than just one view. Ito yung general view. Si ChatGPT 4 daw ganito na. Meron na siyang, ito yung perspective ni ganito, ito yung perspective ni ganito, and then ito na yung recommendation niya. So something like that. What are your thoughts there and reaction to that?
Um, I think it's because of the amount of data that it's maybe getting access to, and generally the internet. uh, Maybe the amount of data that it has is maybe polarizing to one side,
So mas
and
madaming content si yung isang side mas favors
possibly,
si ano.
yeah. Kasi sa internet niya kinukuha eh. And generally, the internet is, I guess, Democrat leaning, right? With the amount of information, liberal information that you're getting on the internet. I'm not surprised. Plus maybe the way they ask the questions, or the way how they got the AI to process info. There was even one time before even those things happened before. I remember there was an issue early on about OpenAI. OpenAI was suspended at one point in time because it got a little too crazy with its responses. But I guess they've already improved how the restrictions and information that it spits out. But um, yeah, it's because of the content that it's learning from.
It goes back to yung question, yung sinabi mo kanina rin na si AI, 'di ba? Yung specialized knowledge. In fact, kapag pinapa-research ko si si ChatGPT for hindi niya kayang i-access yung mga like yung paper, yung scientific study
Ay,
na
hindi.
naka-block.
Oo.
So limited, kumbaga yung wisdom niya is limited
Mm,
to generic kung ano lang yung available, pero yung
yeah,
specialized scientific research,
yeah.
yun yung ano eh, 'di ba?
Pero
May ano rin ba yan?
you can actually teach
Oo, yun.
you can teach it if you have it. You can get a book, to
Pabasa mo sa kanya, no? Tapos
basa
siya
mo
yung
sa kanya. And
mag-extrapolate.
then, oo, siya mag-extrapolate, siya bibigyan ng sarili ng input. Pwede mo rin siyang i-challenge. Actually, yung isang ito pala, for example, uh, ito, like, kunyari, specific marketing function na ginamit ng yung kapatid ko kasi parang ano siya, account manager siya for a company. And pina-experiment ko lang sa kanya. Like, usually kasi yung mga nag-account management, you send a lot of different emails, right, to different people. And before, ikaw mag-iisip or make canned na template, right, for everybody. Pero chinek ko lang, you can actually put a base paragraph, and then you can tell the AI, like, can you write 100 different variations of the same email with na hindi siya katulad, that's unique siya sa lahat. And ang magagawa niya talaga is ipopwersahin niya talaga na mag-output ng gano'n. So, yun naman yung maganda sa kanya. Para siyang ngang calculator, eh. Isipin mo calculator siya. Puwede mo kunyari may idea A, idea B,
Merge
plus,
mo. Oo.
merge mo,
Merge.
equal. There's so many fun things you can do around. Can you divide? Baka puwede mo i-divide, puwede mo i-multiply, 'di ba?
Ang tanong diyan, paano niya na-distinguish yung tama sa mali?
Yun ang wala si AI. Hindi niya nadi-distinguish yung tama sa mali unless ikaw yung
Iti-train mo.
magsabi nun, eh. Iti-train mo siya ano yung tama, ano mali.
Hmm,
Pero that's also the interesting thing. Who gets to say what's right and wrong, right? Uh,
oo.
what is it? Kasi it's different for different people, different cultures. Iba-iba yung POV ng lahat. So imposibleng magkaroon talaga ng yun yung mga questions that need to be solved in terms of,
Tama
how
yan.
you use AI. Kasi you don't know, kasi even as, regular humans, right? You don't get to say what's right and wrong. There's no basis of that. If you believe in the Bible, siguro ito yung right or wrong sa akin. Pero if ibang culture, right? If baka mali sa kanya yun. Mali, tama yan, or
Oo, iba-ibang
Kaya
ano,
tama,
interpretation.
alam mo perfect yung I'm gonna use that to launch yung sagot din ni Sam Altman, eh. kasi nga tinanong siya, paano yung more yung ganyan, no? Iba-iba nga yung interpretation, 'di ba? Iba-iba nga yung ang sagot niya is there will be different rules kasi per country. So we're talking about political bias, no? So we're moving to AI safety, and there will be ang proposal niya, all countries will have their own approach to
Mm.
AI. Tapos
Actually,
i-configure si OpenAI. Kasi nga iba-iba yung tama or right eh. Let's say violence, iba yung violence, gun
uh,
violence, 'di ba? Iba ng
Parang
uh,
may
mga
law siya, may law, may sariling
susundin
law.
niya yung law per region, per country.
Mm.
So nandun din, let's say lalo na yung mga religion, 'di ba? So pwede siyang i-customize based on that. And then Sam Altman even said in the dream scenario, in a great dream scenario, yun nga, magkakaroon ng localized. You as a person can customize OpenAI as well.
Wow.
So
mm,
parang sa mga kids mo, pwede mong gamitin yon. Ito yung application niya. Diba? Hindi mo siya pwede gamitin for violence or for criminal activities, ganyan.
yeah.
So may ano
So yun ang
dapat, GPT directory. Ha?
Hindi. Actually, pwede mo rin balikan ngayon yung, yung balita ngayon sa ano sa yung issue ngayon sa TikTok. Di ba US is trying to give TikTok a hard time because they
Hmm.
say China has
some,
access to data. And if you watch that his interview with the Congress, basically what the CEO of TikTok is saying is the data of TikTok in America is actually hosted in America-based, US-based cloud servers. So I think it's in a way that's kind of it's not parang hindi siya related sa AI in hindsight. Pero you go back to data ownership. Where is the data located? Um, kasi yung AI kasi ano lang talaga naman yan eh. It's like it's think of it like a system and process. That's it. That's really just it. A set of fixed algorithms and processes. It's like a pipe or a pipeline with it's like a machinery of some sort. Pero it cannot work on its own. It needs data. So
tama.
I think what will happen in the future is every geo area will have their own data warehouse, and it will
Saka
have
regulations.
different regulations. But I think it
Ah,
will begin with understanding of data ownership. Uh,
that's the
I think yun yung pinaka best way to regulate that. The day it
speaking
starts.
of which, mm, speaking of which, sorry to cut you off there, no. Uh, Speaking of which, see Italy, there's a news here right now that Italy temporarily banned ChatGPT. Actually, just yesterday because of that same thing, yung data
Mm,
collection. So yun yung magiging so it's more of data collection pero who owns that data? Yun yung magiging
yeah,
uh,
kasi hindi pa nila usually ganyan naman ginagawa ng government kapag hindi nila alam kung paano i-regulate. Ibaba na lang.
temporary ban.
But
Paano si Facebook? Yung data ng mga tao. Kuha.
ang mahirap naman kasi dyan, pag masyado ng malaki, like for example, yan, Facebook, mahirap na siyang basta-basta i-ban kasi ang dami na gumagamit eh. So,
Magagalit kasi yung mga
marami
voters.
mga galit. So, in a way, nag-benefit naman din sila doon. Kaya hindi nila yan basta-basta padidis.
Actually, sa isang... Eto, let's move to the next news. Next news. The big news number 2 regarding tech is this moratorium na... Alam mo to? Let me share my screen here. Here. It's a moratorium about Elon Musk and AI experts trying to delay ChatGPT.
Mm.
So, heavy yan last couple of days.
Yeah, so that's...
So, pumirma sila along with mga tech experts. 6-month ban on creating powerful AI. Anong
Bakit
thoughts
kaya?
nyo? Walang nakalagay specifically eh. Although siguro sa isang letter it contains, hindi ko pa siya nababasa eh. Ano yung saan sila scared, no? But it basically talks about, yeah, more than 1,100 signatories include. So invited din yung OpenAI as well, no? So yeah,
Ako,
any thoughts there?
okay, no? I think para sa akin ang unang ko na nakita, ang naisip ko immediately, it could be one end, maybe it's just a publicity stunt on one side, and then on the other end, maybe they're also trying to figure out um, what kasi the technology is evolving so quickly, and then no one's really thinking about what will be the outcome of this at society level. Because the thing with AI is the productivity is parang light years yung speed sobrang exponential yung speed niya
Yep.
of development before. Na pero I think already reached a stage na mahirap na siyang pigilan.
Oh.
So wala, hindi rin yun nila makukontrol.
Tsaka yung
May
rate of acceleration, mas bibilis lalo na palakas ng palakas eh. So
Oo,
mahirap
oo.
talaga siya i-stop.
Yeah, sobra.
may article din ako nabasa eh, na parang ito na raw yung pinakamagandang panahon para sa mga workers kasi nga parang mas easy na mag-work ngayon.
Hmm. Um, yeah, yung siguro inaaral lang nila diyan yung si Elon for the longest time, I mean, he's been ringing the warning bells on the dangers of AI. And I think valid naman din yung concerns niya. I mean, look at what already just look at the impact of general social media algorithms to us as a society. Diba?
Mm.
We've grown so dependent on it. And the the kids today, or just us in general, we think uh, based on what the algorithm has made us think. So now, given the power to manipulate this algorithm, now you're giving with AI. Actually, you're giving the power for to everyone to kind of play around with this algorithm ourselves and then create something. You don't know what will happen.
Okay.
Um, but to me, I think yung comparison yan is like it's like a next level calculator. So think what happened after calculators became a thing. Like, di ba dati sa school, bawal mag-calculator. Now everyone's using a calculator. Maybe sometime everyone will have an AI, right? So, um,
Hindi, calculator, then Google, then AI. No?
oh,
Grabe.
kasi yung before pre-AI naman kasi, yung data is or na ang naging sobrang available na to everyone eh.
Hmm.
Now we have so much data. Now we reach the point that we have so much data. So I think AI naman is a way to like sum summate those data. So it does things for you. Um, ang mangyayari na lang, I think, what needs to happen is magkaroon ng consolidation sa data ng mga specific na mga bagay-bagay para
That's true.
makapag-calculate ka ng maganda. Ako naman, in my opinion, ang makakagawa ng data consolidation na yan, saka accuracy, will be blockchain. So, what blockchain naman can do, um, it can organize and refine data really
Hmm.
nicely. So, think of it like if data is oil, yung artificial is intelligence is yung parang refinery. Yung nagre-refine para maging unleaded na nilalagay sa sasakyan mo,
Hmm.
ganyan. And then yung mga pipeline in between nung refinery na yun, possibly yun yung blockchain. So,
Mm,
ngayon kasi puro oil. Kumbaga na-discover natin yung oil nung
Mm-mm.
na nung lumabas yung Facebook, lumabas yung
mm,
Google. Sobrang dami ka nakuhang oil. Now, what they do with that information, right?
that's true.
Now,
That's
you
true.
can now magkaroon ka na ng fire, you can have vehicles, you can use it for vehicles, so you power things. I think that's what these guys are concerned with right now. Kasi
Mm,
hindi mo alam what will happen next.
that's true. That's true. And I just forgot to mention, since Junel mentioned na yung jobs, this is the best time for jobs. Maganda rin yung sinabi ni Sam Altman during that interview,
Mm.
wherein he said, just like programming, because of OpenAI, syempre mas mabilis, ang job mag-iiba na rin. Like yung programmer will just have maybe just one job for the day.
Mm.
One activity, pero dapat it should, it should be something new. So it's
Yeah.
more of creating something new rather than cleaning something like, usual programming stuff. And in fact, sabi niya, halos lahat daw ng mga programmers na kausap niya, hindi sinabi, hey, get rid of OpenAI. Ang reaction daw ng mga programmers sa kanya is, I want to use this. This is
Oo,
making my life easier.
Yeah.
sobra.
Oo.
So, yun.
Oo.
So
I think
magkakaroon
And,
ng ano. Sige.
sobrang maganda gamitin kasi AI. I mean, kung developer ka for mga unit test, 'di ba? Or kung check mo yung integrity ng code. You can literally get AI. Yun ang gamit niya ngayon sa GitHub eh.
Mm.
Ah, na dati kailangan mo pa mag-create ng environment, ganyan. Test mo
mm,
sarili mo, ganyan. Ngayon you can just get AI to.
Tsaka ano, 'di ba bibilin mo pa nga minsan. Bibilin mo
Oo.
pa. Mm.
Oo.
that's true.
Kay AI free na.
Oo. Or for $20.
That's true.
'Di ba?
That's true.
Yun lang.
So, nothing to worry about. And also, sinabi rin ni Sam Altman, kaya I recommend you, it's 2 hours eh. No? Pero ang dami niyang sinabi about his vision. Sabi niya, just like chess, kasi people are worried that, uh, we will, economically, we will suffer. But he's saying, just like chess, when Deep Blue was introduced, di ba? Si Kasparov, nakipaglaban kay Deep Blue. They thought that chess will die. But in fact, chess got bigger and bigger
Mm.
because AI is now used as a tool to become better as a chess player. Kaya
Well,
nagkaroon ng si Magnus, 'di ba?
Sila
So,
mo. Oh, like I can only imagine like how many unique moves that you can come up with that. Because literally you can pwede mo kasi ipaaral sa kanya lahat ng mga ah, nangyaring matches before. Like ito for example, like yung nakita ko yung OpenAI for the first time talaga sa Dota 2. Apparently, it got trained
talaga.
with a
mm.
million hours of Dota matches. So hindi imposible talagang matalo nung human yung AI kasi
Saka
alam
yung
niya na
speed it clicks eh.
yung speed at which yung rate at which the thing is thinking is much more efficient saka quicker to access information than a normal human being. Kasi ano siya hive, it's like a hive, right? So if you guys watched isa sa mga favorite kong shows yung Westworld. Have you heard of Westworld?
Yeah, yeah. Ano yan?
'Di
Nolan.
ba? Oo. Yung Westworld. Meron lang
Ano yung
siyang
season 1?
kaya actually hindi maganda na ang may-ari ng AI is like a big company as in sila yung the biggest source of data can't
Monopolize eh. Oh.
monopolize it. It can't be just one company because you don't know what's gonna happen right after that.
Ah,
Kaya mas maganda if yung source of data is really owned by everyone.
yes,
Hindi
yes.
yung
Tama.
parang yung some guy, 'di ba?
Mm,
Isang tao lang nagkokontrol ng pinakamalaking
mm,
ah pinakamatalinong AI.
mm.
Yun yung mahirap.
Tama, tama.
Kaya siguro pinastop muna, no, 6 months, di ba?
Hindi pa sumusunod eh. Walang gusto sumunod. Si Google ayaw. Si OpenAI ayaw din eh. So no
Oo.
one's
Shucks.
following
Kaya
except
nga,
for
I
the
think it's mostly when I read it the first time, I immediately thought, I think this is PR. I think this is PR campaign.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Before we wrap up this section, um, usually what we would do for the first, I thought this is our technically our first episode. Pero, syempre, from the news, what can Filipinos take advantage of? No? Anong opportunities na pwede nating i-take advantage? Knowing, assume na naman, number one, assume na that people will use AI. Diba? Pero
Mm-mm.
ano yung opportunities that we can gather from this learnings we've discussed and also from the news as well?
Um, for me, I think uh, businesses or every remote worker, person who work online should definitely start playing around with ChatGPT. Uh, we can just use it for just content creation. Um,
Mm.
yung writing, yun yung pinakamabilis sa pinakamadaling din na application ng AI. Um, and there's, content is critical in most businesses. Um, that's the easiest thing that you can use it
Yung
for.
low-hanging fruit, no?
Yun yung low hanging fruit. Just use it for content.
Gamitin na.
Oo.
That's good. All right, thank you for that. Let's move to our next section. So this is the Facebook section. So let me reintroduce you again. All right,
Okay.
Mikhail. But before that, we want to thank you, our would-be listeners in Spotify. We're gonna this is a recorded session, so in a bit you're gonna upload it sa Spotify. So we're hoping to grow this channel. So go to our Facebook channel also for more details.
Yes.
Okay. Now we move to the Facebook section. Let's talk about some important topics first. And then and syempre may mga specific questions tayo about the application of AI. Again, let me introduce to you Mikhail, who was with us already in our Spotify section. He's an entrepreneur, a pioneer in the AI use for business application. So for more details, you can tune in on our Spotify. Pero ngayon, let's talk about a few topics here. Junel, can you look at our first topic or first question under tough questions?
Oh, wait.
Sige. So let me read it na lang, no? Para hindi
Sige,
na
sige.
maghintay si audience. Eto, there are plenty of topics, but why is China lagging in the AI war? Like last year or 2 years ago, dami nagsasabi, even Harvard, saying China is so ahead, can compete. Pero ngayon, biglang nawala sila sa eksena. So what are your thoughts there?
Personally, I don't believe in it. Ang last time kung last time I read about China and AI, to my knowledge, I think they have their own open AI that's developed by Tencent. So I think they infinitely have more
More
power.
data.
They have more power to
Yeah.
compel their own people, or I guess force. I don't know. Compel their people to provide data. Kasi ano sila communist, right? So they're more if gustuhin nila na sige mag-gather tayo ng 100 billion or a trillion more data more than OpenAI, they can actually do it. So, and to my knowledge, alam ko meron silang sarili nilang language model na parang OpenAI. And I think they're already using it at a city level. Like, it can do facial recognition, mga ganyan. It can even predict. I read somewhere that their surveillance technology in China, they can even predict a crime before it even happens using artificial intelligence. So
Grabe.
I think they're way ahead, I think. In terms of application, kasi they're already using it as for security measures. Saka meron na rin silang mga social credit system sa kanila. May mga ganun na sila eh. So, di ako naniniwala dyan. So, just there.
Let me qualify the question. No, the question siguro I think from the articles that's being published now is specifically for AGI, or what you call artificial generative intelligence, which is where OpenAI comes in. Because
Ah,
AI in general, madaming pero this is more AGI.
okay.
So medyo behind sila kasi ito yung isang reason kung bakit behind si China daw. Siyempre, censorship.
Mm.
So, controlled yung information. Paano siya tatalino yung Chatgpt version nila kung it cannot access the full internet, 'di ba? And
ah,
yung mga system messages medyo controlled. So, doon pumapasok yung capitalistic, free market
ah,
yung strength ni ChatGPT.
yeah. Siguro ano rin 'yan, yung technology siguro nila hindi sila keen on sharing it with the rest of the world. Maybe in one segment, maybe that's also that. Um, Siguro yung sa kanila, I think baka maybe it's specialized in doing one thing. That's not bad as well. Um, but given their affinity to censorship, I don't think they'd be keen on sharing
Or
their
they don't
data.
care, no? They don't
They
care.
don't care. Oo.
They
Kasi
wanna control.
they're big on ownership eh. So I'm not surprised that they would be they're probably not interested in the generative AI. Although yun nga, limitation nga nun, hindi yun tatalino. Pero given that there's more than 1 billion people
Kumbaga
on there.
naka-filter na siya, eh, naka-filter.
Naka-filter na siya. Saka they already have enough data points eh, para sa kanila eh. Saka what's stopping them from using the open source open AI anyways, right? Nothing. So, para siguro sa kanila, parang ano pang sense, ba't ko isa-share yung sa akin? Meron naman kayo, nakaka-access ko rin naman ng sarili ko yan, right?
Siguro from the CCP's perspective yon. Pero from the citizens' perspective, they're unable to use it, 'di ba? Kasi nga,
Mm-mm.
kumbaga, as a CCP, yung mga government, kaya nilang gamitin si OpenAI. Pero yun nga, they have to have a VPN to access OpenAI kasi hindi siya allowed sa China and Russia and
Oo.
other countries, no? Okay, sige. Let's switch topics, no? So, here's another question. I think nasagot na natin to eh. How will marketing change with AI? Pero specifically for Pinoy entrepreneurs na hindi naman tech, anong thoughts mo doon?
Hmm, Pinoy entrepreneurs that not tech. I think generally just anything that requires for now, I think anything that requires you to create any sort of content, whether it's emails, proposals, script, even script nga sa mga production, mga ganun, mga general content. I know some people in ChatGPT and it helps them a lot. Yung mga ganung maliliit na bagay na usually gets you stuck before. Meron nga akong kilala ano, eh, ginagamit na niya ngayon pang mga press releases, mga ganyan sa dyaryo, mga ganyan. Pero hindi niya sinasabi siyempre na ginagamit niya.
Halata.
Pero mga PR agency, may mga kilala na akong mga PR agency locally na ginagamit siya. Um, Kasi it just reduces the cost. Yung mga dating kailangan ko pa magbayad ng writer para gawin 'to, hindi ko na gagawin, ako na lang gagawa, ganyan. You save maybe, 10,000-20,000 pesos just doing it. Na makatatamaran mo dati na iuutos mo pa sa iba, yung mga gano'ng bagay. Hindi pa kasi at this stage kasi
Kalakas.
hindi pa gano'n ka-refined, eh, yung mga puwede mo ipagawa sa kanya, other than, the content. Pero I think eventually we will reach that stage.
And
Baka siguro
minsan,
years time.
and minsan kasi when you're trying to outsource yung writing, minsan you have to explain. Di niya alam yung
Oo,
sinasabi mo.
oo.
Oo.
Parang, syempre yung knowledge mo na accumulate, di niya alam. So si AI, alam niya, mas madami pa siyang alam sa atin. So kailangan mo
Oo.
lang yung nuances ibigay sa kanya.
Yeah,
So yun yung
yeah, yeah.
advantage.
Parang ibang
Once
level
again,
siya ng Google, eh, 'no? Ibang level siya, magse-search ka lang tapos yun na yung answer, yun na mismo yung
Top
hindi,
search results.
i-aano niya na sa'yo, i-explain niya na sa'yo. So,
yun na yung sagot.
So kung even if you have minor writing skills na hindi na kahit siguro pasulat mo kay AI yung simula and then
Write this.
edit mo na lang siya onte, you give it
So,
your own personal touch. O
okay.
di finish, right?
Eto,
Wag mo
Mikhail.
rin copy paste, no?
Eto, Mikhail, since we're talking about writing, ano yung best command prompt mo? System prompt
Um, hindi,
that you've used?
Actually ano, hindi siya command prompt but more like structure, like you tell it ano yung
Sige.
voice, you write it in the tone of this, ganitong structure, ganitong scenario. Basically, you write a prompt,
Gina-guide mo siya, no? Oo.
you create a box. Um, you guide kung paano siya maglalakad dun sa area na yun. Para yung output
Okay.
specific. So let's say ito, for
Parang
example,
linear game, no? Talaga, hindi open
parang
world.
hindi
Kasi
open.
ngayon, open world.
Hindi, pag masyadong general kasi yung binigay mo sa kanyang prompt, talagang random yung ibibigay niya sa'yo, right? Pero you can actually train it to write in a specific way. Maybe even your own writing style. Like pwede kang mag-upload ng mga dati mong sulat, dati mong emails. Pwede yung tell, okay, study this, and then, kasi sa ChatGPT, hindi nga lang ganun ka-organize yung ChatGPT, yun ang ayaw ko dun eh. Kasi hindi
Open
mo siya
world
Mm.
na.
pwede
Open world.
i-layer, hindi mo siya pwede i-layer kasi.
Pero, Mikhail,
Oo.
Yung, hmm,
pero Mikhail, I think, dyan pumapasok yung skill set and experience mo.
ah,
Kasi to be able to think in that structure, kailangan medyo you went through some kind of training as an individual eh, di ba? Pero
mm.
kung someone junior trying to use the tool, it will have a generic response, no? So,
Ah,
in a
ah,
So may
way,
work na.
so kailangan ng
Tuwang-tuwa.
medyo develop mo yung brain mo rin or yung skill set mo to
Prompt
kasi
developer.
oh, and also yung
mostly,
experience, yung logic, di ba?
oo. Yung ang mas importante yung rails ng logic and way
Oo.
of kung paano mo siya i-out. It's to me, it's not about the prompt. It's how the thing is structured.
And how creative you are also, no? In terms of
Para mas
ako,
maganda yung output niya.
yeah. Ako, I've been using this, but not at that level. Kasi nga, that's not my job, no? I'm not into content creation. So sometimes I use ChatGPT in a mabilis lang. So I don't
Mhm.
have the time to do. I don't have the luxury to do that, no. But here's what I tried using also. Let's say Russia. And then I asked ChatGPT, diba, usually you're pretend you're like this, and etc. And it will give you a generic response. No?
Hmm.
And then my second prompt is I shared this with Jonelle. I asked ChatGPT, what's the basis in your formulating that response? So now I see the criteria. So let's say ito yung ingredients niya, 1 to 5. And then that's where I customize it. Kasi I don't have that structure. I'm rushing. And from there, it gave me, okay, ito pala yung criteria mo. Ito yung belief system mo. Ito yung arguments mo. Ito yung logic mo. I'm gonna change your logic. So that's something that I
Mm.
also did. And okay to.
Pwede
Oo.
ka
So, yes,
mag-follow-up
sir.
question eh. Follow-up
Uh,
question. Mm.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Here's another topic, no? And then after that, we'll move to actually two more topics here. Let's discuss how the youth, yung mga nasa college pa lang, magtatrabaho, will they, to adopt, will they need to specialize or generalize? Maging
Mm,
generalization? Jack of
I
all
think
trades or a
I think
specialist?
specialization pa rin will always win.
Ah.
Ah, mahirap din kasi maging jack of all trades eh. Ang maganda lang siguro given the current set of tech that we have now. You can yung AI can be the generalist for you if you need if you need to
Hmm.
be. I mean, um, pero there's some okay rin naman na ma-incorporate mo kasi yung mga specialization ng iba eh. I mean, think of it this way, like, how amazing would it be? Usually kasi, di ba, in a creative process, like when you're creating content or anything in general, you usually take inspiration from multiple sources eh. Di ba? That's how you create in general. So imagine how amazing it would be. For example, let's say there's a person that specializes in X amount, in X thing, na naka-record kunyari lahat ng data niya from the start ng ginagawa niya specializing on one thing. Kaya mayroon siyang model ng gano'n na naka-save somewhere. And then ako, specialized din ako on that thing. That's, na naka-save din. In sometime in the future, I think you can tell AI, pag combine natin to plus this parameter, plus this
Powerful
parameter,
yun.
Actually,
equal,
meron na. Meron
equal,
na.
ano yung kalalabasan yan? And then
Meron na.
maglalabas ng ganun yun.
Meron,
Kasi,
meron, meron, meron na.
meron na
File
talaga.
chat, filechat.io.
Okay. Ayun. So,
Kino-combine
ayun.
mo.
So,
Ah,
pwede mo gawin.
basically ginagawa niya nasa computer ka na, 'di ba? Yung lahat ng nasa computer mo, upload mo lang doon. Tapos yun, siya na bahala.
Ayun yung mga gusto kong paglaruan personally. Yung mga ganong mixture ng data. Pero, yeah. Kailangan mo organize pa talaga yung data sa
Yeah.
simula.
Oo.
Yun.
Dami pang tools na on
Kaya
top of.
kailangan mangyari. Oh. Kasi
Yeah,
ngayon
yeah.
yung source kasi magulo pa yung
Mm.
source ngayon eh.
Okay.
Oo.
Ito. Let's talk about how come no one's talking about AI, at least in yung mga leaders natin, business leaders. Parang they're not as loud and not even concerned. Although meron si Congressman Ace Barber here, I did some research. Siya lang yung parang talking about it. Bakit kaya?
Feeling ko baka hindi lang nila ba na-gets.
Oo, hindi mo nag-gets.
Huling-huli, no?
Oo. Ganun
Social
lang.
media nga, TikTok nga, 'di ba? Nahirapan na sila eh.
Oo.
AI pa kaya?
Yeah.
Hindi mo
Tapos
nila
may mga
maintindihan.
crypto pa, may blockchain, mga ganun. Hindi nila na.
Wala pa nga sa AI pa kaya.
Feeling
sayang,
ko baka
sayang.
mga at least mga 10-20 years pa bago pa nila.
Tagal ah. Ang tagal naman.
That's
Oo,
why kaya tayo may ganitong channel to talk about that to get more awareness out, diba? So, thank you
Pero yung
also
ano,
for
'di
that.
ba? Yung e-commerce nga ang tagal bago sa Pilipinas eh. Ngayon lang sumikat yung Lazada.
Delayed reaction. Oo.
Oo.
delayed. Oo.
Ito. Last question. And then let's move to practical application. For all the AGI, space, let's say Chatgpt, there's Bard, and sino pa ba? I think yun lang yung big players ngayon, di ba? Anong difference ng isa versus isa, and what would you recommend, Mikhail? Have you used yung Bard?
Hindi. Actually, hindi ko pa na-explore yung
Hindi
mga
pa.
iba. Yung mga ibang language model. Outside
Ah.
sa OpenAI, yung mga nagamit ko iba, yung mga older versions ng GPT. Like GPT, yung mga ibang kind of like, I guess, yung term doon is like yung mga forks ng GPT, the older models. Pero yung iba hindi ko pa nagamit. Midjourney I tried. Pretty interesting. Pero Bard, all
May
those
bayad
things.
Hindi pa,
na.
no?
May
Bayad
bayad
na
na si
kagad si Bard.
Midjourney. Si
Oo,
Midjourney.
may bayad.
Hindi ko
Oo.
kilala
May
si
bayad na.
Midjourney. Can you tell me about Midjourney?
Midjourney, basically, ito-type mo lang yung gusto mong visual.
Oo.
Visual siya.
Visual. Pang graphic designer siya.
Mm-mm.
I-explain mo lang kung ano yung gusto mong makita. Ganyan. Gusto mong ipa-create sa kanya.
And then he will produce that image, no? Alright.
Pero di pa siya perfect talaga.
So
Pero dapat
parang,
magaling mag-prompt.
so as far as AGI is concerned, parang dominant talaga si ChatGPT at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oo.
Alright. Sige. I think ito na yung section na pag-uusapan natin yung tech tips and techniques or whatever tools you can use, no? So for small business owners, we want them to take advantage of all these new tools. But before that, can you share one customer story that inspired you because you helped them or like introduce these new technologies?
Customer. Um, Recently, ginamit ko lang naman yung AI para to create a follow-up sequence uh, for appointment setting. Like,
Mm,
I did not hire a writer. Doon ako natuwa. No? I did not need to get a copywriter. I just put it on the OpenAI and then I had to edit it myself. So it saved a lot of
Mm,
time and effort. Like, na-feel ko yung time savings sa money savings on
mhm,
creating a cool campaign. Na dati, I would need 3 or 4 people to do.
mhm,
Um, and I know a lot of agencies out there is using GPT now, like for their content, mostly for press releases, mga ganyang bagay. So, na hindi na rin nila kailangan mag-hire ng mga ibang writer. Saka
mhm.
bumibilis din yung production. Usually kasi pag ganyan natatagalan, like there's so many
Sayang.
like 'di ba, like aabutin ka ng 2 3 araw if I hire like a writer just to write press releases, mga ganong stuff. Pero ngayon
Mm,
you can get your old press releases and then ito yung format, ito yung kailangan mo gawin. And then i-write na ni
produce.
OpenAI.
mm.
Mo-produce na niya, boom, in 1 second.
Ano nga
Tapos,
eh, kahit Tagalog kaya na niya eh. Medyo
oh,
perfect
kahit
na yung
na
Tagalog.
yeah, yeah. Mostly ngayon ang usage ko sa kanya mostly for productivity. Ganyan.
Mm,
Mas maging efficient yung pag, ano, like,
Mm,
pag if you're thinking of ad copies, ganyan, if you stop, um, you can let it think for you and then you can draw inspiration from that. So, ako para sa akin gano'n yung ginagawa kong process, eh, like when ako kasi parang mas mabilis ako maggawa kapagka meron na existing na bagay and then
ah,
that's how you can write an original one and then before you know it, binura mo na yung yung
mm,
original na binigay niya sa'yo. Wag mo lang siyang i-copy paste the whole time kasi you can really tell. You can tell kung OpenAI siya, kung masyado siyang perfect. I mean, a lot of people are using it right now sa LinkedIn. Most mga expert ko na sa LinkedIn. Ganyan. Ginagamit nila GPT. You can tell. Pag masyadong mahaba explanation, for example,
oo.
mga ganon. Or walang personality. Ganyan. So, kailangan mo pa rin siya i-edit. Kailangan mo pa rin siya i-edit.
mm. Eto, it's up to you if you can name if you can name up to three, but what are the top three best marketing tools? Again, outside ChatGPT that, mga Pinoy businessmen can use as well. That you are using right now that you highly recommend.
Mm. Yung maganda yung Jasper. Yung Jasper parang ano siya, Jasper AI. Parang specialized siya for content. Yung tool na yun. And then there's also yung what fascinated me the other day was yung expression camera. Like para siyang deepfake na not
Mhm.
exactly AI, but deepfake siya na tech. So parang pwede mong iba-iba yung itsura nung nasa video. When you respond spokesperson. So I think it's good for creating new types of content and be more creative, right? And then pangatlo, yung I guess yung mid journey. Like it helps with the brainstorming of layout.
Right. Ito yung sinabi
Brainstorming
niya.
ng layout. So, kasi
Right.
ano siya, graphic design tool. Although hindi perfect yung output niya every single time.
Mm,
Pero I think it's enough to get some
Mm.
inspiration.
All right. I just want to show our viewers Jasper AI. So, para
Yeah, yeah.
siyang, is it accessing OpenAI or this is completely different? No?
I think ano hindi ko sure, pero ano yata 'to, eh, GPT rin yata yung base nito, eh.
GPT. All
GPT
right.
rin yan, eh,
Okay.
I
I
think.
guess mas much better siya kasi ano na to, specialist na to, ano.
Oo,
And
oo.
oo.
so ginagamit
So,
niya, I guess. Mm.
yan yung diyan yung mga next evolution ngayon ng ano, eh, ng GPT. So, ngayon
Mm.
actually may plugins sa GPT like you can,
Oh.
like hotels.com, you can meron na rin GPT hotels.com. Like say, you can tell GPT na I'm going to this place, make me a proposal on where to stay with given this budget. Like you can
So
literally
parang
say,
Mikhail, para siyang WordPress na nilagyan mo ng maraming plugin.
oh, ganun siya, ganun.
Ganun si AI ngayon.
May
Ganun
bayad
din.
kaya to? May bayad?
Merong bayad yan, oh. I think based on
Binabayaran ni
output.
Jasper.
Yeah. Based on outputs.
So para siya talagang tool talaga for businesses as well. They just pay
Yeah.
per use, no? And
Yeah.
access. What's the other one you mentioned kanina? Middle
Expression camera.
expression camera.
Ang ganda rin yan.
Yung
Yeah.
nakalimutan ko yung pangalan nung basta yung AI voices okay din yun eh.
Ayan.
Yan.
Nice
Maganda yan.
So, ano to? Hindi mo mukha?
Hindi mo mukha. Oo.
Lalagay, papatong mo, basically.
Papatong mo. And then what I would do is I would use an AI voice para iba yung mukha. Kasi usually kasi mabenta sa mga ads or content online, mga talking head videos like that one.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine like using a cat and then putting another, let's say for example, boses ni Eminem, ganyan, on a cat, saying something, mga ganun. So, ayun yung mga possible creative uses na pwede mo gawin. There's even alam ko sa Japan recently nauso nga yung mga influencers na AI.
Virtual
Paklase
influencers.
naman sa Japan.
Search mo yung Any Color.
Any
Yung
Color.
pangalan ng agency nila, Any Color. So parang
this one? Ayan.
Any Color. Ayan. So, ang gagawin ko actually, ang maganda gawin is, kunyari, pwede ka magpa-drawing ng anime, ganyan, sa artist, para sa iyo yung mukha, ganyan. And then just pagwalawin mo na lang siya using AI, okay na yun. So, itong Any Color talagang super na-fascinate ako dyan kasi, siya influencer agency siya na virtual, ayun lahat ng mga avatars nila. So, I think it's sustainable way even to have this is actually one of the that I'm thinking of.
Gawan mo lahat yan ng Facebook page and then gawan mo siya ng social media
gawan mo lahat ng
rates sila, may rates.
Diba? Tapos yung boses pwedeng yung boses pwedeng AI generated. So literally, pwede kang mag-hire ng tao lang para gumalaw yung ulo or magsalita siya using basahin yung
expression
script.
Camera, no?
Expression camera na lang. Tapos
actually, kahit ikaw na mismo, kunwari tamad ka mag-shoot. Di ba?
Patong mo lang kahit, one person can be 100 different personalities, right? In an 8-hour day, let's say, for example, pwedeng 8 different streams yung gawin mo. So,
production cost, wala na no?
Yung production cost, wala na. So, ako tingin ko yung usage of AI, for business or anybody, it's just, sky's the limit. Like, you need to be, you just need to peak your, use your imagination. Walang limit. Hindi lang siya, ngayon kasi, pag sabi mo kasi AI nga, unang inisip ng tao, GPT, but there's so many things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you check yung middle something? Ano yan?
Ay, medyo mahirap yun. Kasi kailangan ng Discord, di ba?
Hindi tayo makapasok ngayon. At least sa website.
Ito yung ilagay mo, i-share screen mo, yung Potter Balenciaga. Ang galing na ito eh.
Potter Balenciaga.
Ito yung nilagay ko sa chat. Yung YouTube.
Sige.
Literally nag-mash. I think hindi ko sure kung ginamit niya Mid-Journey. Basta gumamit din siya ng deepfake. Tapos ginamit niya yung AI voice ng mga character.
Mm-hmm.
And then he managed to create this high quality.
You are Balenciaga, Harry.
Ayan. AI to lahat?
AI yan lahat, AI
ang galing.
Between H&M and Balenciaga. After all, to the well-organized mind, Balenciaga is but the next great adventure.
Some fashionista.
All
Grabe.
of those go AI generated lang lahat yan, and it did not cost millions to produce.
Pero pinatong siya, right? Pinatong or no? Complete
I think
everything.
I think this is AI generated everything.
Alright.
Everything, Mid Journey yung iba diyan, 'di ba?
Oo. Tapos
Parang
pinagalaw yung
pinagsama-sama.
pinagsama-sama niya, I think,
Mm.
AI voice, maybe Mid-Journey, or a 3D AI generative thing. And then isang AI na nagpapagalaw ng muka.
Mm,
Ay yung ginawa niya dyan. Ay, tatlo
grabe.
ginawa niya dyan, at least.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Do you see any AI tool for, let's say, marketing publications or automations na do you recommend?
Automation,
Or yung usual
yun na yun,
marketing? Yeah.
yung nabanggit ko kanina. Okay na. Ang low hanging fruit, I think, kailangan na matutunan ng lahat ngayon is yung yung kung paano nila magagamit yung AI in their content production pipeline. So, yeah, and there's already so many tools.
Absolutely.
Kailangan
Okay.
maging aware yung mga Pilipino sa mga nangyayari ngayon kasi wala, mauunahan sila ng iba, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So that's true. And I think we've reached the last part already kasi nasagot na along the way. Nasagot na along the way ni Mikhail. And any last words or for the Pinoy? I know you mentioned let's play with these tools and learn. Any other thoughts for number one for entrepreneurs who are watching and this is their first time seeing this tool or they've heard about it pero ngayon lang sila nakakita kung gaano kalaking scope. And then as a marketing professional who's also new.
I think just use your imagination. Like, don't be limited from the generative output of text. Ganyan. And when using it, using AI, like, siguro start muna with start thinking of things, how you can create things quicker. Using it, low hanging fruit is content. Use the tools out. There's already so many tools. Just play around with it, and then use your imagination. Yun lang.
That's good. That's good. Creativity. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mikhail. I hope we could invite you again on our next show and also meet you in person. Manel
Yeah.
has told a lot of good things about you.
Thanks.
All right. So yun lang. Thank you again
Thank you.
for this episode, and we invite you again for the next run next week. Thank you
All
and have a good day. Appreciate it.
Thank
Hello
you.
everyone.